My name is Jasmine Brunson. I'm the founder of Blockchain Culture. I also work in the DeFi space for Steady State Finance, DeFi insurance company. So I'm the head database engineer. Throughout my college career, I've worked in machine learning, data science. Just right now, I'm working with Maxar Technologies, just looking at adversarial attacks and machine learning as it pertains to NLP, natural language processing. And overall, my Bitcoin journey started out with just going down the rabbit hole in 2016 with a movie called Dope. So those of you who know, that movie came out in 2015. And ever since, I've just been researching. And I think that's very imperative for our people to put research at the top of our priorities when it comes to coming down the rabbit hole, because at the end of the day, there are so many scams out there. There's so many vulnerabilities where we have to be risk averse and we have to think smart when we talk about building generational wealth. So I'm happy to discuss this conversation as it pertains to community colleges, because I'm an alumna of Prince George's Community College.
Hello, everyone, and good morning, near and far. My name is Jamal Basilio. I'm an accounting senior at the University of Maryland College Park. I'm also the founder of Lit Night, a social review site that aims to use live geoanalytics and influence to engage the nightlife entertainment industry, as well as the entertainment experience. As an active learner, I was drawn out to the space of data analytics and tech through conversations with Sister Jasmine Brunson, who has initially fueled my interest to learn more about how the technology works, as well as how I can introduce this information to other melanated people as well, and how can we foster education and bring it towards entrepreneurship. Personally, I've been investing into the crypto space for less than 3 years, but just the introduction of data analytics has urged me to continue learning more how we can leverage technology towards benefiting our community, and how we can use technology as well to grow education with Black people. And thank you.
My name is Trey Edwards. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I'm a manager at Coinbase. I've been into cryptocurrency for the last 4 years. I started off and working the traditional financial industry, and that's where it really just hit me. Wow, system is truly out of date. There are a ton of problems and inefficiencies, and honestly, we can just do better. And that's when I started to learn about blockchain and digital currency. As many people here on this call, and I'm sure many in the audience as well, I went down after that, and I absolutely just couldn't get enough of blockchain and crypto and all the exciting projects. It really just felt like a space where I knew that I belonged to be. So I wanted to go and to jump in. So I went and found a master's degree program devoted to the subject. It's currently the only one in the world. And I had the opportunity to get my master's in blockchain and digital currency. When I graduated, I was one of the youngest people in the world to get the degree. And now that I'm here, a couple of things that I'm super passionate about. So first and foremost, making sure that as the future of finance is being developed through this new technology, that our community is involved, and not only involved as far as just education like we're doing today, but involved as far as taking part and helping to build it. And that's really where I'm very excited to speak with the panel today about how people from all backgrounds, whether that's from traditional college, community college, or even no college at all, can bring a ton of value to this industry. So really excited to speak with you all.
My name is Eric Mendez, and I graduated from community college and I went to Victoria University, and my Bitcoin and crypto journey has gone so far. I've gone from not knowing anything to watching hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos, reading articles, and I just love finance and I love business and I love investing in people. And I feel like crypto is the best way to invest in people. Just like this event is trying to invest in you guys, I want to invest in the people around us in this plant panel. And most importantly, I'm just thankful that there is such thing as a crypto. There is such thing as being different than the standard. You know what I mean? So I'm just grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful that we have cryptocurrencies, that we have a pathway for people like us to invest and have our money grow and invest in other individuals.
All right, so let's take the first question. We can take it, round robin, any way you want to do it, just interject it. I like to imagine a baraza of us being we just happen to sit down at a coffee table and we're waiting for some stuff to kick off, and we're just start talking and start vibing with one another and sharing our knowledge. So as a lot of times when it comes to technology, we always think of, okay, well, you have resources if you went to Howard, you have resources if you went to Spelman, you have resources at Morehouse, you have resources at Stanford, you have resources at MIT. Where do you think, in your opinion, the community colleges fit into this? Are they at a disadvantage or advantage? And to add on to that, not only where they fit into the scheme of cryptocurrency and blockchain, but if someone's at a community college and they think they want to be involved, where should they go to start something on their own respective campuses?
So just to start off, I think that community colleges are at an advantage because I think community colleges, as it pertains to being an academic institution, is like the only one that actually has a connection with this external community. And you can make the argument that universities do, but I've seen it even going to Prince George's Community College. I've been in classes where there's eclectic students, there's students from different types of background, different ages, creeds, religions. And so I think that the CC in itself has that pull where they can pull people externally from its community and bring people in and educate them as it pertains to blockchain technology. In terms of students, just starting a blockchain club at your university, I think, or at your college, can be a very big game changer. And there's resources out there. There's communities that will support blockchain education. And so it's just about being that person that starts the movement and just paying it forward.
Like, I feel like you have to be the first one to take that stepping stone, like Jasmine was for me. And you have to like share your experience and share what you want and see people who are like-minded like you. And that's one thing that I feel like community college does very well. They help you share your thoughts with like-minded individuals. And maybe if it's not there at your community college, you can make it there. And I feel like that's what differentiates a community college from a four-year college. There's so many people, there's classes, there's finals. I mean, there's finals in community college as well, but it's a different level of expectation. You can more explore yourself. You can see what you like, what you dislike. And I feel like community college overall, like that's where you can find like-minded individuals in a closed environment where you could feel safe. And, hopefully you find those people. And if you don't, you network and you try your best to find those people or go to the places you want to go.
Absolutely love that. And I think to one thing that I love about cryptocurrency and about blockchain is that anyone can start building on top of it. You don't have to go and ask permission from some university. You don't have to go and ask permission from some big company. Instead, you can go and just start coding today. And so I think one of the beautiful parts about community colleges, as Jasmine and Eric have talked about, is that the community aspect. And so as a result, you have so many people around you that I'm sure are also into blockchain and into crypto. And so go and build those clubs and start building, because this is something where you all can really start and to create the next big decentralized application right there from your community college. And you don't have to ask permission from anybody. So I think that y'all are at a huge advantage when it comes down to that.
Thank you, Trey. Jamal, did you ever come across any resources that you found that have been able to be plug and play? And Trey, we could double back to Coinbase and find out if they have any resources that this kind of roadmap for, I'm in class, I'm in school, there's some clubs, I have ability to start a club. What have you seen online? They say, well, I can really implement this on a college campus.
I think one of the greatest utilizations is the internet and Internet of Things, because being a community college student, you're in a campus full of individuals that range from 16 all the way to 60. You have people that are working part-time, full-time, and students that are full-time, as well as different programs available at night and in the morning. So one thing that I did when I was at Prince George's Community College was starting the Caribbean Student Association, because I felt that we needed a community of students there, and they didn't have the drive to continue it from the past presidency. That created community for us to not only work with students at George Mason, but also George Washington, students at Towson, and all around the DC metropolitan area. Within technology and cryptocurrency and blockchain, there is no necessary program available at PGCC that entails the education and learning or the community of building such diaspora. So this leaves an open area for like-minded individuals like us to come in and bridge the gap and lobby for these types of clubs, even starting those clubs. I even see myself back there currently finishing up a couple courses for my CPA requirements. And I see that there is need for a community because students are coming in and they're leaving out. So if you create the platform, not necessarily being in person, but it could be virtual as a clubhouse or a party room or chat room where students can come online after their courses, after work, after activities, and still be in the community where we can share ideas, work on projects, be in incubators, and just foster at a virtual meeting space that's acceptable and efficient for one another.
Yeah, one of the things that, and I'll definitely talk to Jasmine about this too. There are a lot of resources online that are targeting university level. Black People in Cryptocurrency, we're an ambassador for one of those networks called Mousebelt. And Mousebelt has a number of startups associated with it, a number of mostly Silicon Valley, not mostly, but a large contingent of Silicon Valley startup founders in blockchain and crypto. And because of that, they built a website that allows people to take blockchain specific classes. And there's no fee for clubs to join their network. If you have no experience hosting a blockchain club, they have data and materials on what other clubs are doing and how to learn some basics. And they certainly encourage collaboration. So I know in the Washington, D.C. area, I think it's George Mason has a Mousebelt associated chapter. But then again, you're not limited to that, because I noticed that a lot of the college clubs that have programming, they may use Mousebelt, and then they may use another group called Ben, and they may use GBA. They're using a wealth of different organizations' resources to kind of give students and get students engaged, and getting like micro funding for even what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain type events from the startup founders that have been funded within the system. So definitely keep Mousebelt, Ben, Government Blockchain Association on your radar. Trader, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, a couple of things that I would add to this as far as ways that people that are at community colleges and maybe that a couple of others that are into crypto, things that you can start building today. So for example, NFTs have become a very hot and pressing topic here in the industry. People local in the communities, I think that one thing that hasn't been explored yet is local NFTs. Like right now it's very digital, but I think that there is going to be a very big scene in the future for people to create NFTs specific to their communities. In this example, for your community colleges. And so I think that that's an opportunity for people to get ahead of the market and to go and to start creating that value here today. There's also the ability within cryptocurrency to create your own social token. There's even a company named TryRoll, or you can go to tryroll.com, and it's created by a Black founder, and it allows for anyone, anywhere to create their own cryptocurrency with just a couple clicks of a button, no technical or coding knowledge needed. And so that's another opportunity for people to go and to create cryptocurrency and to interact with it in their local community and to really start to bring other people on board. So those are a couple of resources if anyone is out there looking for ways that they can start building today.
And Jasmine, what are some ways that you've been able to engage? Because you've brought a lot of people here to this panel. What are some ways that you've been able to engage people to kind of look at blockchain and crypto on the college setting? Because I know that a lot of times, the overshadow is brands that the Google, the Amazons, other IBM, other ventures that are not necessarily, they have blockchain, but it might be a friend or it's something in the future. And a lot of times students are drawn to those things because, first thing you want to do to get out of school is to get a job and get a good paying job and move your way up the ladder a lot of times. So what are some ways that you found to be able to attract the students that you have to cryptocurrency and blockchain?
I would say about 90% of the conversations I have with random people, I will always tie it into Bitcoin somehow. What I've been able to do is just get to know the person. And then a lot of times, think about their major, stuff like that. For example, supply chain. That's a direct correlation with blockchain. I feel like blockchain touches so many industries, so many things that it's very easy to just talk about randomly with folks. And so that's what I've been able to do. And it's been very incredible. Just talking to folks in the gas station, it's very easy. And I definitely want to continue transferring this wealth of knowledge, because that's the in of blockchain, distribution, decentralization, sharing information, having access. So I never was kind of privy to just keeping this to myself. I definitely wanted to continue educating people about the space, letting them know what's there, what resources are there. Shout out to Isaiah Jackson. I always talk about a Bitcoin in Black America. I always talk about this book by Stephen Williams called Blockchain Index Everything, one of my favorite books in the blockchain space. So there's a wealth of knowledge out there. I definitely just want folks to just sit down and do their own research. I'm going to continue pressing that on because I think it's very imperative before you do a deep dive. It's very imperative to do your own research, because you can't blame your mistakes. Say you get, faulted by like a pump and dump. You can't blame your mistakes on a celebrity that told you didn't do your own research. So and that also goes back to me being an information science major, having graduated from the University of Maryland. I feel like I chose the right major to pursue the space. Information science gets as granular as data science, and then we go into programming and then understanding the ethics behind being a data scientist. Typically, they don't talk about that in technical degrees, but that's very important in this time, in this information age.
Eric, what are you studying? What have you studied? What do you plan to study? Where are you going to find this stuff to study? Because reality is community college or just elite college or anybody's college or university, they're not going to have, 9 times out of 10, not going to have a blockchain or crypto course. So what kind of roadmap can you lead for people of what you've done in the past or what maybe you want to do in the future that can help guide someone who's watching?
Great question. So I think for me personally, I've always wanted to do business. Like business is me. So that was pretty easy for me. But if business isn't for you, I would say the technology space is 2 ways I view it. There's technology, there's the business, and then there's like a banking financial aspect in the middle, maybe like an economics degree. But I think most importantly, it's what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about technology when it comes to innovating, like software, like any type of sense of that path, I would say definitely go to computer science, definitely look for things in that area. But like if you're like me and you're an entrepreneur and you want to make businesses and you want to invest in people, you need exponential growth. You need Ethereum, Bitcoin, like 10 years of growth. So you want those environments where you're with people who want to grow at that level. So maybe it's not like a bachelor's degree you're looking for, but a community. My community was Southern Management Leadership Program, which Jamal and Jasmine were also a part of. And pretty much they put you in a like-minded group where you're being told to solve like maybe case studies, or you're being told to solve like little problems during class, and you build relationships with people who also want that same path as you. So in my opinion, a bachelor's degree is perfect. Like a centered bachelor's degree is perfect, but more so, what other programs, what other fellowships are you joining? Where are you tying your talents with with the resources you have available? So I would say computer science, economics, business. There's probably way more than that, but those are my fields of what I understand pretty much.
Yeah, I think people have to realize that there's definitely pathways in business for blockchain and cryptocurrency, because you've got to be able to merge. You got to be able to say, well, this is not a use case for blockchain or crypto. So if you understand what the advantages are to blockchain and crypto, you can also tell someone, this is better served by a centralized solution, but this is better served by blockchain or crypto. And you're going to need people knowledgeable beyond the networking capacity, the programming, and those type of elements to be able to come and bring their knowledge. So you need the intellectual property attorneys, you need just all sorts of different facets coming to the table. And one of the programs that Mousebelt has is actually a business blockchain track for those who are in the business sector, because there are ways in which you can improve business systems as well using a DAO structure. DAO structures aren't always warranted, but decentralized autonomous organizations in which you're making community decisions. And if you think about it, we do have these type of setups within our system that might not be used in the corporate sector as much, but a lot of fraternities and sororities, a lot of, when you're dealing with decisions that are made within an organization, things are brought to a vote and pitches are made. A lot of religious denominations, definitely it's a council almost in some instances, in some religions that are making decisions. So we've had these type of business organizational structures before, not necessarily an exact mirror of how corporations do things, but people are turning, it's a pendulum swing. You go one direction one way, and then it swings back in a different direction. So the idea of being able to study using for corporate decisions, the centralized autonomous organizations, these votings and people having different stakes and different amounts of votes to make a decision on how to spend money to execute a business decision. decision is something that blockchain is bringing back into the commerce world, which still has always existed within our religious sectors and within our social organizations. You're seeing that return into blockchain. So you definitely need someone with a business mindset that says, not everything can be voted by committee, but these things can be, and there may be a benefit to attracting consumers that they have a greater voice in the decisions of operations that they love. Any last words? Go ahead.
I think one thing that we haven't really touched upon is crypto in the nonprofit sector, especially in the religious sector. Like, imagine we can make your donations in Ethereum and Bitcoin and Cardano, and now you're investing in the future of a long-term but asset/belief system for the community of people you're around. So right now we're donating in dollars, but imagine if you told your pastor, I'll donate you, but I'll donate you in Bitcoin. And then you're sparking something in his mind. And he's like, wait, why are you donating it? And why does it hold value? Then you have to explain it to him. Then he explains to his congregation. It's more so like a ripple effect, where I think we haven't even gotten even close to touching. So I think that's something that I'm really interested in.
Okay, Trey, do you have anything to add?
Yes. So one last thing that I want to say before we go is, when I was first getting started in crypto, it was a little intimidating. I think that it was intimidating first from the standpoint of, there is so much to know about this technology, and it's hard to wrap your head around, and it can be difficult to know about how do I get started, both with just like investing safely, but also contributing and adding value to the industry. I think one of the reasons why I ended up getting my master's degree in retrospect is because I thought that I didn't have the skills or the education needed to go and start working in crypto. Let me tell you, as much as I love my master's degree program, I was wrong. And what I mean by that is that you today, by having a community college degree, you do have the skills necessary to start bringing value to this industry. You do have the skills necessary to start working at a company like Coinbase or any of the other big players. So I want for you all to take away from this that you belong here in this space. You can add value. And if you're interested in learning more, either about careers here at Coinbase or anywhere else, I'm happy to give advice and to plug you into opportunities. I'm most responsive on Twitter, just at Trey Edwards 919, and I'm more than happy to help. So I want to make sure that people know that we're here for you if you need anything at all.
Jamal, do you want to share some closing comments and some ways in which people can reach out to you, and even ask? I would even add an ask, because I think a lot of times we like to talk about, this is what we're working on and this is what I can offer. But if you're in search of something as well, definitely put that out there as well.
Yes. I'll say, as we close up our end, is our push for education. Yesterday we mentioned the need for promoting hard skills and digital literacy, and the urgency of bridging the borders to learning. And I think that this is mainly for higher education professors and those interested in investing into education of African Americans and community colleges as well. And even to Brother Isaiah Jackson, of including project-based learning assignments and entrepreneurship incubators. That's something that I found was very useful for when I was at community college and at 4-year, which paid for some of my startup funds as well as for my education. And this is just to drive the hands-on learning and to create a different learning style for individuals like ourselves, and be more in a welcoming space to be more vocal, to decide ideas, solve real world problems, and investigating topics of issues that instead of having another group solve, we're solving ourselves. So we can solve our own problems using blockchain technology while funding it through cryptocurrency and growing one another as our generations grow. I see my little sister, she's 10, 11 years old, and she's already interested in investing in cryptocurrency. She's an artist and interested in making her own NFTs. So as we educate one another, it's going to drive learning and more creative space to keep this community growing. It's only a one starting standpoint. I've only been in the area for about 2-3 years, but just the energy that I feel, just being in the presence of other like-minded individuals, and with the growth of creating wealth and generational wealth for one another, is the most exciting thing. I thank you for the opportunity to be here today. You can find me at LinkedIn, Jamal Basilio, or my email, jamalbasilio@gmail.com. I'm opening to investors into my startup, as well as other ideas and interests of how to utilize blockchain technology in app development. So thank you and enjoy.
First, I want to thank you guys for inviting me. Thank you guys for having me talk. But I think my closing remarks would be to just explore. Ignorance is power in this space. I'm learning every day. I feel like every time I learn something new in crypto, I feel like I'm a little slow, but it's okay, because I'm learning at a pace which is fine for me. And for others, maybe they're like 5 years into it, but don't let that discourage you, because we're still very early on in the space. And what we need to realize is that we don't know what's going to be the next thing until it comes. I feel like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're what's present, but we don't know the future until the future already happened. Like we have iPhone. We didn't know the iPhone was the iPhone until like couple years later, like everyone has one. iMessage, FaceTime. So I think this is just like a motivation to just keep learning and to just keep seeking new knowledge, keep seeking new relationships in this space to just grow your network and also your self-development. You know what I mean? So those would be my closing remark. Thank you.
Jasmine.
Thank you so much. So just to close it out, just wanted to say 1.7 billion people in the world are unbanked. That can be changed with Bitcoin. It's changing with Bitcoin. About 90% of Bitcoin is in the hands of men. That can be changed through blockchain education. I definitely want to just say this space is more than just financial. It's more than just focusing on building generational wealth. The blockchain technology in itself can be applied to democracy and governance, agriculture. There's a plethora of spaces in which it touches, especially with art. Now that we have, this NFT boom that's happening. And so I just want folks to just realize that this space is beyond what we can ever imagine. And so to get in now and to sit down and, reach out to people, build your network, I think it's very imperative to do that. And I just want to thank everybody. I'm very excited to be here. So everybody take care, but we have to get it going. Black America, we have to get it going.
And I'll close out just to kind of recap a lot of the things we talked about. There are many ways in which community colleges can get involved in cryptocurrency and blockchain, but you're going to have to go get it. If you sit and wait for the schools to implement, you may be waiting throughout your tenure there, and the next tenure, you find yourself behind. But there are a lot of free resources out there. Look for Mousebelt. Mousebelt University is what it's called, and you can complete an application there. This is a good time because a lot of these programs, they're not charging any money for students. They want to encourage students to start clubs and activities around blockchain and crypto, and they have the information. And it's good to diversify. It's good to, I'm going to take Mousebelt for this, but I'm going to look for a blockchain education network. I think it's called blockchain. It's BEN is the acronym. If you just do BEN and blockchain, you'll stumble across them. They have their own program. There's a government blockchain association that has data, but collecting as much data, and then don't try to get fancy. Stick with the basics. Go with, we just want to do a pizza party and what is Bitcoin? When you're able to aggregate in person, or maybe you want to do something virtual and have a guest speaker in which people can come and, if you're a person that's hosting a college event and you're not very knowledgeable, the reason why these resources are important, and you say, look, we've heard about NFTs. Do you have a speaker in your network? Can you give us NFTs 101? And they'll, you're just hosting a Zoom event and then have like a fun competition or a little gameplay. I mean, it doesn't have to be that technical. You just need to start. And then once you start learning, then you'll say, okay, you go to the next level, and you may say, okay, let's all take an online class together at Udemy, or some of the other online educational platforms that if you search, there's a lot of blockchain classes being offered. You need to look at who's giving the classes and what the topics are being covered. Look at the reviews. Talk to someone who has taken the class before. They may have left a review. If you can find them, put in the legwork, and you can create the initial course offerings. I did this as myself as an undergraduate to some degree. I went to West Virginia University, and we did not have a major degree in Africana Studies, but there was an active Black Culture and Research Center that was on campus. And then we were basically gathering together and, talking to the university, and they had plans, it's coming. But we did as much as we could. Then by the time my end of my sophomore year rolled around, they actually had a minor concentration, and I switched my minor at the last minute. So you can think of that in terms of blockchain and crypto. I know that, I don't know if Trey wants to say some last words, but Coinbase I believe has a learn area or a pay to to earn area on the site. You can join together and go to Coinbase's site and figure out, what they're offering to learn. All the media outlets, CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, Coinbase. If you look for the little learn link, it might be buried, but that's free content that you can just pick and choose. I want to concentrate on the business component. Okay, let's do something here. We can do it together. So, and then as you're going on, you can expand from there.
Hey, you know what? Real quick, did you just hit it? First of all, humbly, thank you. Sister Jasmine, shout out to you for even making this possible. It was your brainchild. You made this happen, and we gave it wings only because of you. Now, just to piggyback on what Sister Deirdre said, and definitely Trey with Coinbase, I'm sure they have some things. But Andreas Anopoulos could not speak this year. He gave us 25 things to give out, like tutorials from his teachings. Like Andreas Anopoulos is like by far one of the most amazing. I came in on Max Kaiser, but he's more of a economist style. From a practical coder, developer, crypto person, Andreas Anopoulos is amazing. I would love to be able to see if we can share some of those community college folks so that we make sure they gave us 25. I don't know what the split is, but Jasmine, I would charge you to hold me accountable for those things not to go to waste because I'll get distracted. So, that being said, I know we got to get to the next one, but I just wanted to say that out loud so I can be held accountable.
Yeah, we cannot forget Andreas Antonopoulos and all the work that he's done. Everyone pretty much tunes into his videos as much as he's able to share. And I think he's on Patreon now, giving more detailed and more advanced courses. I'm always sharing his stuff. Like I follow him on LinkedIn. But yeah, there's plenty of resources. Definitely Isaiah Jackson mentioned many times that he's keynoted here as well at this conference. But his book specifically targeting us. There's some other authors. Jasmine, you're gonna have to send me that book title that you sent earlier because I didn't write it down fast enough. I know we have a Bitcoin Vegan has come out with a book. So more and more people in our community that are publishing and coming out with works from their various perspectives. Absolutely, we did incorporate their works into our learning session.